So in Australia, it almost doesn't matter which university you go to. You know that the course you're going to come up with, the degree, the qualification you're going to come up with is going to be bloody good.
Yeah, that's true.
So at least everyone can relax about that and know that whatever course you choose, it's going to be good quality. And now let's think about all the other things that go into your choices.
Yeah, it's awesome.
G'day and welcome to Choosing Your Uni. I'm Rob Malicki. So I've got a real treat for you. I'm actually in North Queensland. I'm with Nick Klomp, who's the Vice Chancellor of CQU Uni. Thanks for the time, Nick. Really
No worries.
good to sit down.
Great to catch up with you finally, Rob, and great to have a chat.
Awesome. Like, you've seen a lot of students in your time. You've travelled over the world. You've worked at different universities. Across all that experience, what do you think do students need to think about when they're choosing their uni? That was the actual question.
Yeah, look, I've worked at lots of different universities and I've learnt some tricks over the time, Rob. We used to do surveys of students written surveys. Why did you choose this university? Because we wanted to know the information ourselves. And I've done this at 2 or 3 universities and people would tick, oh, they chose the course, they chose the location. And then we would interview the very same students in focus groups and the answers were different. It's really interesting because sometimes people would say, oh, I told my folks that I really wanted this course, but really I was dying to leave home and so I chose the course. That was like, or I told my folks I really wanted this course because I knew that we couldn't afford to leave home and I knew that I had to keep my part-time work. So it wasn't necessarily my first love, but practically I had to choose a course that I could actually go to at a local university. So the idea that there's one good reason to choose a university or is probably not true. The reality is you've got to take it in context. There's all sorts of pressures on students, particularly nowadays. It's pretty tough, not just financially, but there's some pressures on students and they've got to take that into account. But the one good thing though, Rob, about all of this is in Australia, the vast majority of my courses and the vast majority of courses at all the universities I've worked at are accredited. So not only do we have TEXA, the Australian government, checking our quality and our standard, so we've got all the professional bodies in accounting and nursing and allied health and everything, all checking our courses as well. So in Australia, it almost doesn't matter which university you go to, you know that the course you're going to come up with, the degree, the qualification you're going to come up with is going to be bloody good.
Yeah, that's true.
So at least everyone can relax about that and know that whatever course you choose, it's going to be good quality. And now let's think about all the other things that go into your choices.
And so what are some of those things? Obviously personal circumstances dictate a lot of that. One of the things I get a lot on the channel, and hi to everyone, and thanks for if you have questions, comments, hit them down below. I love getting your comments and love replying to those. But a lot of people always just be like, what is the best university for? That's like not a great question, is it? So,
no.
So how would you break that down? If somebody asks you that question, like, what's the best university? How would you break that down?
I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
What's the best university for astrobiology? For basket weaving? I'm choosing a course that you're probably not thinking about. And of course the answer is invariably there's 6 or 7, 8 or 40 Australian universities that offer that course. And then I say nearly all of them are going to be accredited by the external bodies. They're accredited by the Commonwealth Government through TEXA for quality. So then it's the one that you're going to come out of and be really, have survived, have had some practical knowledge, that sort of stuff. Now occasionally some universities differentiate themselves just a little bit. They have a course that has more practical or connections with more researchers or something like that. And if that's your bent, if that's the sort of thing that attracts you, that might be okay. But honestly, what I find is so many first years come into a course, they don't know much about the course. And then they meet some really great lecturers that really changes the way they think about things. And that person might not have been a Nobel Prize winner or might not have been directly connected with industry, but just a brilliant teacher, brought the subject alive. So there's so many things. I think if people worry too much about, I've got to pick the right course and the right university, I think just think about what's best for your circumstances. Because in Australia, I know it's not the same all over the world, but in Australia, you go to a public university in Australia, you're going to come out with a great degree and great graduate outcomes. So starting salaries and employment rates, they're all really good. So much of a muchness in that sort of space.
What does that mean? So for somebody that hasn't heard of that, like graduate employability rates and starting salaries. What does that actually mean?
So the
Because
Australian...
there's great data about it.
I know.
It's amazing, and it's
Yes.
all available for us to
Absolutely.
To look
Go to the Quilt database. Just type in university.
Link down below.
Yeah, well done, well done. And the Australian government does it separately. So let's be clear about this. This is not just Nick saying, hey, CQU University's got great employment outcomes. We do. We're about 6 or 7 or 8% check it, above the national average. Now that is good, and I'm proud of that. And I argue that's because at CQU University we've got really applied courses, they've got a lot of work experience, they work with industry a lot. That's all true, but it also depends on where you get your degree. Is there lots of employment opportunities in that region? So I'll take those nods of recognition of what a great university CQU University is, absolutely. But warning and secret message to everyone listening, take it with a grain of salt, because it's context driven, it depends on the disciplines, it depends on the location within Australia, different states, different regions have different employment outcomes, and that of course will influence the result that a university gets. So my advice, how do you distill all of this? The poor school leaver or the career changer is thinking, well, what do I do with all of this? I think the thing to do is say, what do I want to be? Where's the fast track for that? What degree do I need? Okay, that's the first thing. Choose your degree. Then relax and say, how can I do this for least pain? It might be the local university, but you might want to move away. You might want to be thinking about family, or you might want to think about where friends and support networks are elsewhere. And then think about jobs. You might have a part-time job here or an opportunity for a full-time job. Maybe you're going to even study part-time. So then you wouldn't move away, would you? Pull all of that into your consideration, and maybe the obvious university will fall out of all of that consideration. I think it would be wrong advice to say, go for the university that is the richest, go for the university that has got more points in this aspect or that aspect, because honestly, in Australia, they're pretty good. They're a really high quality. You can't go wrong.
I love what you said about go for the one that has the least pain, right? Because I think we do overcomplicate the decision sometimes. And there are amazing opportunities at all. So unless you really know what you want to do, and this is a question I get a lot, which is, I should do a general degree or a specific degree. 99% of students, I think, when they're 18 or 20, like that, you don't really know, and that's okay.
You
so
bet.
Start general.
And so many students change their minds. And a university like CQU University will make it really easy to change your mind. So it's okay. We won't make you then start completely again and you've lost that money and you've got to start again. No, we'll find ways of getting credit and that sort of stuff. So in your first year, you can imagine running into you'll make new friends from different degrees. You've got to have new ideas. Well, that's the whole point of coming to uni. You've got to broaden your mind, and if that means that you change your mind about what you'd love, that's perfectly okay. And here's another reason to quieten down, to relax, because almost what the first degree you get will get you that first job, but boy, is that going to change over time. You'll continue doing studies, you'll have opportunities for professional development within your workplace will change like crazy, your discipline will change like crazy. And here I was, started off with a biology degree. I just wanted to catch furry and feathery animals. And I did that for a while, but I got into management and other things, and it was never a plan to do this job, but that's what happens. So if everyone could just relax as best you can, and if you start off with doing the stuff that you love, you're going to be passionate about it, the jobs, the career, the opportunities will come from there.
Such great advice. Funny, I did my first degree as a biology degree too.
There we go.
And I fell into it because it was the nearest uni. And I was like, I like biology. My brother's there, easy. So I just followed the path of least resistance. The biology lecturers were the best.
Yeah.
So I ended up in it. And I haven't subsequently worked in science, but I tell you what, that first degree, I use that every day, I reckon. Yep. The way I think about things, research things.
Absolutely.
Look at the weather. You really just pick up so much. So.
The first degree is really exciting. It will teach you how to think. It will teach you different ways of looking at things, and it doesn't have to be I've made my decision and this is my career for the rest of my life. And that's what I really worry about. I have year 10 students coming to me and going, what subjects should I do at year 11 and 12? And say, well, do the subjects that you really like? What are you thinking about? I've got to make a decision now and I've got to get an ATAR because this is going to be my decision for the rest of my life. And these are 15-year-olds. And I think, oh, you poor things, you should just relax about that. You have a bit of an idea, that's great. Pick some subjects that align, that's great. But be ready to change your mind and be okay with that. And a good university will be really really flexible with you and will find ways to support you.
100%. I think the same's actually true, like not only at 15, but at 25, at 35, like the ability, and you guys have CQ Uni has quite a large online distance.
Oh yeah, half our students study online.
So like that's people who are upskilling, reskilling, changing direction as well.
Absolutely, and that's going to happen more and more.
Yeah.
You hear all these figures about you're going to change your career 13 times in your life. I don't know how much that is true, but for sure you're going to keep on learning, either in your workplace or more formally coming back to uni. And maybe after your first degree, that might be more part-time and bits and pieces here and there. And so a good university needs to offer really a good university, Rob, needs to almost be a lifetime career partner for the students and be there for them when they want to upskill, reskill, or change careers totally, and make sure that they don't have to just relearn everything. No, you get some recognition of prior learning, make it easier for people to be adjusting in their careers for the rest of their lives. I think that's what a modern university's got to do.
That's probably a good segue then, because CQ Uni is Queensland's only dual sector institution. So for those people who don't know what that means, it means you can go literally from like a short course with having not even finished high school, like all the way through to PhD.
Yep, a Cert 1, you can do apprenticeships, trades, you can do welding, you can do electrical, you can do mechanical fitting, as well as then work those into engineering degrees or business degrees, or then work them into PhDs or postdocs. So we're the only one in Queensland that can do that.
That's fantastic. And this is in fact, I've been to Rockhampton years ago, but it's so good to be back. This campus is...
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful. Top 2 or 3, 4 in the country for mine. Like, absolutely stunning. What kind of student would really fit this place, in your opinion?
Okay, so remembering that half our students are online, so they're all over Australia and all over the world studying, and some of them come here for residential schools, but some of them we don't see until they graduate. They walk across the stage, you go, oh, I remember you, I remember your assignment, so that's great. But the students that come here on campus, well, it's a comprehensive university, so it's got all the courses, all from all over the shop. It's really interesting. You'd think that you'd get them just from Rockhampton, but a lot of people actually, a lot of people are from way out west or from rural properties and that sort of stuff, but a lot of people are actually from larger towns. We've got loads of folk from Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne, and you think, well, they wanted a rural opportunity. Some of their courses in environmental science or ag or engineering were focused to that rural and regional. It might have been mining, it might have been agriculture, it might have been environmental science, so they wanted to make sure they get their work experience and their jobs and that sort of stuff. Some people have just been here and loved it and thought, well, here's an opportunity. If I've got to go to university anyway, why don't I go back there? And so we've got hundreds of students pointing to the residences, and it's just great. Whenever I talk to them, they're from all over, international students, of course, but we've got students from all over Australia. It's great. They all make friends, and they think they're just making friends and having a coffee or having a beer with them. But of course, making friends at uni is really important, because they're the people that go on and they become the managers and the leaders. And so you can pick up the phone in 10 years' time and say, hey, George, hey, Georgina, you're now the head of this department or the head of this industry. Let's talk about how we can work together on this or that. So the friends you make at uni end up being your professional contacts around the world. It's completely different from school. Going to uni is just an amazing experience, and it can really set you up for life.
100%, completely agree. And then what about Rockhampton? So you've been here for a while now.
Yep.
What do you find are like the highlights of living here in Rocky?
Okay, I've always been a regional guy. I've spent 20 years at another regional university in New South Wales. When I was working at universities in the metro areas, I missed the regionality. I missed and a few reasons why. One, the university is so integrated with the community. So the community just thinks they own I know I'm meant to be the boss. The community thinks that they're running the university. They've got an opinion on everything, but it means that they take all the students into placements and part-time work, and they really care about. I get calls if I'm not looking after a local student that someone's only just met that previous week. So there's something about rural communities in that. Rocky, by the way, is 100,000 people or something in the region.
Big, yeah.
It's a big place, so it isn't a tiny town, but you still get all those benefits. You get to know loads of people. You certainly know everyone in your class, everyone in your course. You get to know all the locals. There's less competition for jobs, so there's more opportunities for jobs. A lot easier to get around. There's a whole lot of benefits from it. But I think the number one would just be that friendliness. You can't walk across this campus. People are always going to say hello to you. Too bad whether you're in a bad mood or you want to be a bit quiet. No, everyone's going to say hello to you. And if you want to stop and have a chat, they're absolutely up for a chat. So really, regional areas are great ways of making friends for life, I reckon.
So true. Country Australia really
Isn't
is
it?
such a great thing. And I've now travelled all around the country and I feel like I've left my heart in a whole bunch of
Yes.
places.
Yeah.
And just geographically, you get out to the coast here about 30 k's out to 40 k's, 50 k's out to Yeppoon.
Oh, Yeppoon's not even that, probably 25.
25 kilometres, beautiful islands at the southern end of the Barrier Reef.
Isn't it gorgeous?
The climate is amazing. I imagine it gets pretty hot here in the middle of the summertime, but a lot of people are out working or doing other things in the summer anyway.
Yeah, so I say that it's hot and humid for about 2 months here, and everyone's got fans. I'm watching the fans go around and air conditioning, and then if you can put up with that, it's just beautiful weather, Rob. And I have to remind myself, because day after day it's beautiful weather, and I think this is not normal. A whole lot of people around the world just don't experience such beautiful weather.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that everyone makes a beeline to Queensland more generally, but here in central Queensland it's just beautiful.
The last thing I want to ask you about, you wrote a couple of really fantastic blog posts for school leavers, but what kind of motivated you to write those blog posts? Because I've never really seen anything like that from Vice Chancellor level.
Yeah, I know, Rob, and particularly the school leavers. They've done all their assignments, they're going into their exams and they're doing brilliantly. Oh, so my argument almost was the year 12ers shouldn't just get their certificate and their ATAR score, they should get a medal, for getting through it. I reckon it'll be a badge of honour. And then the other thing is the Australian government then started just changing some of the price structures for degrees. And that's okay, that's politics, that's bureaucracy, and that's why we put in a government. They can make those decisions. But my message to the school leavers or anyone else thinking about studying is don't let those price indicators make your decision. I think it would be absolutely disastrous if someone who wanted to do business or law or creative arts suddenly looked at the prices and thought, well, hang on a second, if I do chemistry, it'll be cheaper. Oh my goodness me, you're going to make a terrible chemist, and you're going to, for the rest of your life, you're going to be going, I wish I did creative arts because it was my love. And anyway, those rules will change, governments change, policies change, prices change. So the best advice is do what you love. Do what you love and take every opportunity you can while you're at uni, no matter which university you go to. There'll be opportunities for part-time work, for meeting other people, for working together in groups, for work experience, for meeting people from industry, and all of those things that you think are just having fun and meeting new people actually all build up to a profile that will allow you to have an amazing career. And we know all the stats are clear. You get a degree and it gives you better lifetime earning potential, gives you more choices, gives you more choices in your career so you can move, even if you move into different careers. But check this out, Rob. It increases your chances of your friends and family going to uni. By you going to uni, you don't just open the door for yourself and all sorts of opportunities for yourself and your career. You're actually opening door and opportunities for your kids, even if you don't have any yet, and for your friends and neighbours and relations around you. Isn't that amazing?
Incredible.
Because they're turning to you and going, what's it like? And when they realise that you've had a great time or you've had opportunities, they think, oh, I could do that as well. So people that aren't even considering it, you will open doors for them. You might not even know you've done it. So there's all sorts of reasons to think about coming and grabbing a qualification from the university.
I think that's a really inspirational note to end on. So Nick, it's been fantastic chatting with you. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Rob. This has been great fun.
Really appreciate it.
Good on you.
If this is your first time here on Choosing Uni, please hit the subscribe button. That way every time I get to chat to amazing people like Nick, you get to hear about it. And we'll see you next time on Choosing Uni. Have a great day.